Tonight on 7 News, classes cancelled, students told to stay at home as more than 30,000 teachers prepare to walk off the job. The AFL comes down hard on a footy fan banned for throwing a bottle at the Wizard. A police dog savage takedown of a teenager in a dramatic arrest in Melbourne's southeast. Mystery surrounds what caused an Albert Park sinkhole, a key road closed. Countdown to obliteration. Iran holds its ground as the world waits to see if Donald Trump goes through with his threat. The global fuel crisis worsening by the hour. And Bobby Hill's back at the Magpies with a secret weapon. Watching on.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7 News with Peter Mitchell.
Good evening. Victorian families are scrambling tonight with 30,000 teachers preparing to walk off the job, sending shockwaves across entire school communities. Thousands of classes will be cancelled tomorrow as a bitter pay feud between the union and the Allen government escalates.
A lesson in industrial relations.
We expect there to be 30,000 members or more who stop work tomorrow.
And a lecture on employment law.
And we have put on the table a genuine offer, an offer that is fair.
That has the Premier pleading for teachers not to walk.
The leadership of the AU should really be rethinking this action tomorrow because it's only providing inconvenience for families.
But the union says the Premier's offer of a 17% pay rise instead of the 35% requested is a fail.
Tomorrow we will actually be attending the Stop Work rally in support of teachers, principals and education support staff.
Victorian teachers are currently the lowest paid in Australia, followed by South Australia and Tasmania, Queensland and WA, New South Wales, and then the ACT and Northern Territory. If Victoria won the 35% increase, it would push them up to the top of the class.
A snapshot of the hundreds of schools affected shows Cranbourne Secondary College will open only for children of critical care workers. 46 of the 60 staff at Point Cook Senior School will strike. Brighton Primary School has 7 out of 27 teachers left at work. Donvale Primary School will operate on skeleton staff, and Pascoe Vale North Primary has cancelled 2/3 of classes. And the debate rebuttal? Apparently it's the union skipping class.
But they've walked away from the table, not the government.
Laura Turner, 7 News.
An AFL fan has been banned for 5 years for throwing a bottle at Hawks star Nick Watson. Chief football reporter Mitch Cleary is at AFL House. And Mitch, the league is clearly sending a strong message here.
Well, Peter, it's a heavy price to pay for one bottle of Coke. Late this afternoon, the AFL confirmed that the Swans fan responsible has been banned from all AFL matches over the next 5 years. The MCC also coming down hard, banning him for the events at the MCG for the same length of time, while Victoria Police has slapped the 43-year-old Narre Warren man with a $407 infringement notice. This incident happened on the final siren on Thursday night. The league and the MCC only became aware of this when the Hawthorn forward took to radio on Friday morning. On top of all of this, Sydney has confirmed that the Victorian-based membership for the Swans fan will also be cancelled. Peter?
Mitch Cleary at Docklands. Thank you. An alleged teenage car thief has been savagely bitten by a police dog during a dramatic arrest in Melbourne's southeast. Police say the boy and his mates broke into a home, stole an Audi and took it on a wild high-speed chase.
Emerging from underneath a trampoline, teenage boys bolt from police, sprinting through a backyard, but one quickly learns his lesson. The 16-year-old screams as a police dog sinks its teeth into his arm.
I think it's probably the only punishment he's going to get.
For an alleged home invasion an hour earlier in Ashwood, where a couple was fast asleep. They woke to their dog barking and found teens inside their home.
I see 2 guys in the corridor. I don't think they saw me, so I think they were distracting by the dog.
But clearly did not care. The teens even turned on the light to check this dog couldn't get them. An omen for what was to come as the couple hid in their bedroom.
Just try to keep the door closed and try to minimize the sound from our bedroom.
Within minutes, the boys piled out with keys to the couple's Audi A1, which was then used for a wild joyride across Melbourne's southeast. The stolen Audi hit speeds of 190 k's an hour on the Monash freeway before police deployed stop sticks at this off-ramp. Still, they kept going for another 7 kilometres. But eventually, a front tyre fell off, forcing the trio to flee on foot. They ran through Narre Warren streets until they ran into police. This boy was taken to hospital where he remains tonight. His two 17-year-old mates also arrested. They have now been charged.
We'll see how long until they're out.
Jordan Quinn, 7 News.
A pedestrian has been crushed by a person falling from a building in the heart of Melbourne. The tragedy unfolded around lunchtime, a woman landing on the man who'd been standing in a laneway behind a William Street hotel. Jacqueline Stanley is there, and Jack, the pedestrian's been taken to hospital.
He's in a serious condition, Mitch, and we've been told the woman fell from the 19th floor of this building here on William Street, landing on the man who was standing in the alleyway below. Advanced life support paramedics rushed to the scene but couldn't save her, and police are now preparing a report for the coroner. The man, who's said to be in his 30s, is recovering in the Royal Melbourne Hospital. Paramedics say his injuries are to the upper body, and witnesses say it was a horrific scene. The building site nearby was packed with tradies, some who would have witnessed the fall. And if you or anyone you know needs help, you can call Lifeline on 13 11 14.
Jacqueline Stanley in the city, thank you. A sinkhole has opened up in the middle of a busy main road in Albert Park. Jordan Quinn is there tonight, and Jordan, crews are trying to work out just exactly what's caused this.
Mitch, it is still a mystery, but what is certain is that the city-bound lane here on Kerford Road will be shut for some time. Now, as you can see behind me, road crews are still here tonight, but this sinkhole has caused quite a bit of concern. It was first discovered just after lunchtime and is about 1.5 metres deep. While it appears small, its width underneath the surface, I'm told, is about 15 metres, so almost like a cave. Now, but that is why experts from South East Water have been brought in to fix it, and they are investigating whether the sewer line below had anything to do with it. Now, with this road closed, there have been a few very impatient motorists. One woman even tried to drive around on the footpath but was quickly stopped by police. So if you are travelling through here tomorrow morning, it might be best to find a different way to work. Mitch?
Jordan Quinn at Albert Park, thank you. Dozens of Victorian service stations are running dry as the global fuel crisis deepens. At least 50 are now without diesel, while more than 100 have one or more fuel types unavailable. It comes as the federal government scrambles to secure supplies, with the world's top energy chief warning the shock is worse than the crisis that triggered global recession in the 1970s.
Trying to lock in fuel for Australia, the Albanese government confirms talks with key countries that refine our petrol, diesel and jet fuel.
Making sure that we can secure supply.
Overwhelmingly reliant on foreign refineries, Australia sources big quantities of fuel from South Korea and Singapore, Japan, Malaysia and China. This afternoon, the Prime Minister spoke with Singapore's PM Lawrence Wong, the two promising to support open trade flows.
This is a third world country situation that Anthony Albanese has sleptwalked into.
Definitely the risks in the near term are to the downside.
3 weeks into the Iran war, the ASX 200 has taken a pounding, down more than 9%.
It equates to something like 350 billion.
As the head of the International Energy Agency visits Canberra and warns even if the Iran war ended now, damage to energy assets means recovery would be slow.
The amount of oil we lost is equal to 2 oil price shocks in the 70s, which led the world to recession.
And pressure is building here for the government to hit one group that stands to profit from the Iran war, gas exporters, with a big new tax.
It's not their gas. It's not the government's gas. It's not the opposition's gas. It's our gas.
The visiting energy chief agrees Australians own the resource, but adds this warning.
Energy investors are like butterflies. When they are scared, they fly away.
Tim Lester, 7 News.
And to the Middle East now, where Iran is refusing to back down after Donald Trump issued his 48-hour ultimatum. The clock is ticking. Iran has just over 16 hours left to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, or the US will obliterate its energy grid. Tehran says if that happens, not only will it retaliate, it will close the vital shipping routes indefinitely.
Precision strikes, Iran's drone capabilities supposedly being ripped up, while in Israel fresh explosions decimate cars, buildings, cluster missiles raining down over Tel Aviv from the sky. Iran taunting the apprentice-turned-US president with this message.
Hey Trump, you are fired. You are familiar with this sentence. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Using Donald Trump's catchphrase against him, Iran's president insists the Strait of Hormuz is open to all, except those who violate our soil. But if Trump keeps to his deadline, Tehran is vowing to completely close the strait and inflict maximum damage to US-linked water and energy facilities across the Gulf. Israel is backing in the US president's plan.
I think President Trump knows exactly what he's doing. And whatever we do together.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu surveying the damage where ballistic missiles pierced Israel's sophisticated Iron Dome defences twice, slamming into residential areas.
Whoa!
Utter destruction at this kindergarten not far from a nuclear research facility. No one killed, 160 injured across both sites, and an investigation launched.
What more proof do you need that this regime that threatens the entire world has to be stopped?
Well, this is what the direct hit from a ballistic missile looks like. You can see the crater just behind me. This is the play area of a kindergarten, and the building itself has been completely destroyed. There is play equipment inside, toys, all of it reduced to rubble.
The human cost is being felt severely in Iran. Its reported death toll now more than 1,500. In the northeast city of Tabriz, 2 children and their father were killed during a strike on a residential area both sides of this war seemingly want to condemn. In Israel, Jacqueline Robson, 7 News.
And still in the Middle East, the president of Lebanon fears Israel is about to launch a major ground invasion of his country. Chief reporter Chris Reason is there. And Chris, Israel has started taking out key civilian infrastructure.
Lebanon's president has warned his citizens to brace for an imminent major ground offensive after Israel took out a key bridge, which he says was an attempt to sever the north of the country from the south around the Litani River. Now, President Joseph Aoun describing it as a prelude to a ground invasion and occupation of the south of this country. Now, Israel says the route was being used by Hezbollah to transport troops and munitions. Lebanon says it cuts key communities from vital health supplies and food as well. We've seen more than 1,000 people killed in this country so far in this conflict and over 1 million people displaced. Last week, evidence of a major build-up of troops and munitions, artillery on that northern Israeli border, with Israel looking to call up some 450,000 reservists. Lebanon says it's reached out to Israel for urgent peace talks. It's yet to receive a reply.
Chris Reason in the Middle East, thank you. The Cuban government says its military is preparing for a potential attack as the US imposes a crippling oil blockade. After America captured Venezuela's president, Donald Trump said Cuba was next and the Caribbean nation could fall pretty soon. Cuba's deputy foreign minister says leaders would be naive to ignore the possibility of conflict. The island's power grid has collapsed for the second time in a week. And 4 ambulances that belong to a Jewish volunteer organisation have been set on fire in London. Video shows three masked people in the suburb of Golders Green, which has a large Jewish population. No one was injured. Officers are treating it as an anti-Semitic hate crime as they hunt the culprits. Back home now, and a Pies premiership star is back on the track. Beck Maddern, it's been a long time coming for Bobby Hill.
It has, Peter. Hello to you. Yes, Bobby Hill hasn't trained with teammates for quite a few months, and today he returned to the track. Mitch Cleary will join me later with more details. Also, 2 Cat stars taking it easy and in doubt just a few days out from their Thursday night clash with the Crows. And our Aussie Test stars bracing for a bumper schedule of cricket. Plus, Kane Corns joins me to discuss Essendon's horror start to the season.
Yeah, plenty to talk about there.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Beck. Jacinta Allen claims One Nation and the Liberals have been working together in a secret coalition, and we'll have details next. Also ahead, a firebug targets a family-run business in Heidelberg West. Radio shock jock Kyle Sandilands officially launches legal action over his contract termination. More Victorian students to get access to free dental care, and international flights return to Avalon Airport. Free dental care is expanding for Victorian students. The state government is rolling out its Smile Squad program to more schools, including low-fee non-government campuses. 54 have been selected in the first stage, with a broader expansion to follow. The program provides checkups, treatment and follow-up care delivered by mobile dental teams at school. For families, that can mean savings of up to $400 a year per child. A firebug has made a botched getaway after torching a panel beating workshop in Heidelberg West. They were seen fleeing, engulfed in flames, moments after the building was set alight.
A family-run business destroyed in minutes. Arsonists targeted the McEwen Road panel beaters around 2 this morning, flames swallowing the building, destroying everything in their path, including 14 vehicles and a truck inside.
This blaze was quite massive. We had structural collapse in 3 areas.
Fireys tackled the inferno from all angles to stop it spreading to a bikie clubhouse next door. It took 2 hours to bring under control, a cocktail of dangerous chemicals making firefighting efforts extra challenging.
Paint thinners, paints, oxyacetylene, the major risks to the crews.
Police say moments before the blaze, a tow truck was seen reversing into the business before 2 firebugs torched it and fled.
I'm actually worried as well, as a business owner as well, that we can be set upon as well.
Nearby workers say they saw a man engulfed in flames running from the area moments after the firebombing. Police are calling local hospitals to see if he sought emergency treatment.
You need to present to a hospital. You need to go there and be looked at, because those burns, even if you're not feeling anything, they're dangerous and you could end up dying from such injuries.
The workshop has been gutted and will now be demolished. Ainsley Kosh, 7 News.
Kyle Sandilands is officially suing his former employer. The sacked Kiss FM star claims ARN Media unlawfully tore up his $100 million contract after a heated on-air argument with co-host Jackie O. The radio giant told investors this morning it had been served legal documents by Sandilands' team. The shock jock claims there was no grounds to sack him, alleging there's been no serious misconduct or a breach of contract. The Premier has accused the opposition of secretly teaming up with One Nation. The popularity surge for Pauline Hanson's team in South Australia is being downplayed here by both Liberal and Labor as they come to terms with a new political reality.
The rise of One Nation in South Australia, igniting political fire in Victoria.
The cat has been let out of the bag.
This is a desperate Premier that is trying to divert away from all the problems that she's having.
The opposition firing back at suggestions of a secret coalition deal with the Populist Party after a One Nation MP took to the airwaves.
I would like to see the coalition realise One Nation is not their enemy. We need to work together.
It's an alliance the Liberals are denying, and one the Premier claims is dangerous.
The only way to stop One Nation and the only way to back a fairer, better, stronger Victoria is to vote Labor.
Labor backbenchers admit nerves are growing.
I talk to my community a lot about the division that's happening through One Nation. They're not happy.
Happy or not, there's no denying a tidal wave of orange is heading for Victoria.
The One Nation threat is incredibly real.
The Liberals' crushing defeat in South Australia could be a warning sign of what's to come, but the opposition insists the real problem is a government that's lost touch with voters.
This is a government that stopped listening, that stopped caring.
We are listening to Victorians every single day.
If they do manage to pick up a few more additional seats in South Australia, that will signal to voters that it's more than just a protest, that it's a vote of power.
Empowering One Nation to push ahead. Rochelle Brown, 7 News.
International travel has returned to Avalon Airport. The first flight in 6 years has just taken off, heading to Bali. Balinese dancers and high-profile guests, including Joel Selwood, marked the milestone send-off.
To create more choice for travellers, to drive tourism, to support jobs and unlock the broader economic potential of Victoria's southwest.
Avalon will now run 5 return services a week to the island destination, adding more than 120,000 seats a year. Now on World Meteorological, you know what I mean. Jane Bunn joins us now. Jane, we're having a warm start to the week.
I left that for you to say, Richard. I'm very glad I did. We are, and it is set to continue for another 2 days. The overnight aurora was replaced by some foggy low cloud, and once that cleared out to sunshine, it rose to 27 in the city, warm and humid. The high humidity keeps it warm tonight, and it'll stick with us for 2 more days. We can add in the risk of thunderstorms too. But the change that is coming on Thursday is a proper taste of winter. I'll have our roller coaster weather after sport. Mitch.
Enjoy your big day, won't you? Thanks very much, Jane. A troubled teenager, dubbed one of Victoria's worst juvenile offenders, has revealed how he's getting his life back on track. Exclusive details are next on 7 News. Also coming up, breaking news, 2 men arrested over a servo showdown at Scoresby. The terrifying moment, a car swallowed up in a landslide on a coastal road. A passenger plane collides with a fire truck at a New York airport. And can Aussie Delta eclipse the world, kicking off her Eurovision campaign in Norway? In breaking news, police have arrested 2 men over an attempted carjacking. It's alleged the pair demanded the keys of a truck driver at the Scoresby service station on Friday, then assaulted him when he refused to hand them over. There was an alleged assault, however, no serious injuries have been reported. The 2 offenders fled in a Subaru southbound on Eastlink. Today, 2 men aged 20 and 18 were arrested in Heathmont. A driver's had the shock of his life as he travelled cautiously along a treacherous stretch of coastal road when his car was suddenly swallowed by a landslide. It happened in Turkey. Rescue crews finding the 44-year-old under a mountain of debris. He only suffered minor injuries. New York's LaGuardia Airport, one of America's busiest, has shut down after a passenger jet hit a truck with police and firefighters on board. It happened just hours ago on the runway. Authorities are now trying to piece together how it happened.
This is Jazz Airlines Flight 646, an Air Canada regional flight, nose in the air, with a gaping hole just under the cockpit, torn away after ploughing into an airport truck with police and firefighters on board.
It just lifted in the air. Holy.
It was dark and raining, but air traffic controllers watched the disaster unfold. First, desperately trying to alert the crew on the truck.
Stop, truck one, stop. Stop, truck one, stop.
And frantically instructing all approaching aircraft to abort their landings.
Delta 2603, go around, runway heading 2000.
But it was too late for these passengers and crew.
Jet 646, I see you collide with a vehicle here, just hold position, I know you can't move. Vehicles are responding to you now.
The plane, a smaller CRJ 900, had just landed from Montreal with around 80 passengers and crew on board. Everyone would have been seated with belts on, expecting to be in the terminal within minutes.
But the big question is where was the communication breakdown that allowed for this vehicle to end up on an active runway as a plane was landing?
Air travel right across America has been a nightmare in recent days because of security staff shortages. And with busy LaGuardia now closed, no one is going anywhere fast. In the United States, Rob Scott, 7 News.
Singer Delta Goodrem has kicked off her Eurovision campaign, performing her entry song Eclipse at a fan event in Oslo, and she brought the Aussie charm.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!
The music competition will take place in Vienna in May. One Victorian pub has switched up its weekly raffle because of the fuel crisis. That's next. Also a serial stealer. The hunt for one woman behind 115 thefts across the St Kilda area. The Magpies making a wish come true. And after sport, the King's Baton on an environmental mission. A teenager, once described by police as one of our worst young offenders, is turning his life around. From home invasions to high-speed chases, the 16-year-old caused chaos across the suburbs. Tonight, in an exclusive interview with Seven's Cassie Zervos, he tells how he turned the corner.
Swapping the thrill of high-speed chases in stolen cars for this.
If I didn't have him in my life, I'd probably be locked up again by now already. Punching something gives like the same thrill and adrenaline as it would punching 100 Ks on your dash.
The 16-year-old's criminal offending was so bad, he was the first teen in Victoria to wear an ankle monitoring device. He stole dozens of cars and was involved in home invasions, leaving innocent Melburnians terrorised. Now, he's turning his life around.
He was labelled one time as one of the worst youth offenders, and now, you know, I can't wait for the police to see him on the streets.
A remarkable breakthrough off the back of his longest stint inside Parkville. 8 months locked up.
The day he got out on parole was the day we picked up the reins.
Through mutual connections, mentors Joel Brown and Wade Hobber have been working around the clock.
Definitely, you know, both got colourful pasts. Those that have been there can give back. Accountability check-ins, we're in a group chat, so we're FaceTiming each other, calling each other and, you know, training on the daily.
And so far, it's working. The teen has been out of prison for a month, the longest period ever he's gone without reoffending.
Nah, don't want to let him down. It's more just like a respect thing. They don't treat me like a goose, so I won't treat them like one.
Alongside Olympian and pro boxer Jason Waitley, the dynamic team trains every day at his gym.
I just think that boxing gyms and fight gyms is probably what there needs to be a little bit more of with the troubled youth.
Yeah, all my mates, I tell all of them, like, I quit it, bro, just go to the gym.
Away from the gym, the teen is also using music to rebuild his life.
This call is coming from inside the Parkville Youth Justice Centre.
Only 15, but the system hate me.
Both Joel and Wade believe work like this could be the solution to the state's crisis.
I want every naughtiest kid and every addict out there.
The 16-year-old's mother admits even though it is early days, for the first time in 2 years, she finally sees light at the end of a very dark tunnel.
A completely different kid this time.
A different kid with a message.
Just give it up. It's not worth it. It's life's way more gangster.
Cassie Zervos, 7 News.
Just getting you ready, mate.
It's been revealed a hardcore group of shoplifters is responsible for a good portion of Melbourne's retail crime. Police say a middle-aged woman is one of the worst repeat offenders, stealing from grocery and liquor stores 115 times.
A sprint across a bottle shop, a woman snatches 2 bottles of vodka. Seconds later, she's gone. She's well known around Balaclava, with alcohol and groceries big targets for hardcore thieves.
There's a core group of 11 offenders that have committed something like in excess of 500 thefts in the preceding 12 months.
Local shopkeepers are fed up.
We called the police more than 50 times since we opened. Would like to move out.
Police say it's the same criminals, nabbing 162 shoplifters almost 800 times. Retailers losing $680,000 worth of groceries and liquor in the past year.
So much harder to run this long and fighting with the people.
On the police radar, a middle-aged woman accused of 115 thefts over 12 months, a 31-year-old man 50 thefts in 4 months, and a 30-year-old man 44 thefts in a year.
Even $2 shops are being targeted, with brazen thieves raiding shelves and shopkeepers too terrified to stop them. They've resorted to arming themselves behind the counter.
They'll just walk out with it, with no fear.
Police say tough times are fueling the Port Phillip crime wave.
The costs of their conduct is passed on to other consumers. We need to stop that.
Phoebe Worthley, 7 News.
As we saw earlier, it's been a tough start to the week on the share market. Here's Tim McMillan.
Donald Trump's ultimatum to Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz or else brought more panic to world markets. The ASX plunged almost 2% this morning. More than $300 billion has been wiped from investment and superannuation accounts since the war began. In that time, the price of Brent crude oil has leapt more than 50%. Analysts warn that even if Iran unblocks that key shipping corridor tomorrow, supply and prices would take months to normalise. And that pressure is already pushing housing costs even higher. The Master Builders Association says suppliers are increasingly adding a fuel levy to cover soaring prices, and that could take the cost of materials back to COVID-era levels. The ASX 200 trimmed its losses by the close. Gold has had its biggest weekly fall since 1983. The Aussie dollar worth 69 US cents.
A high stakes prize at a regional Victorian pub with fuel prices soaring. The Tallarook Hotel has swapped its meat raffle for something far more valuable, now giving away a 20-litre jerry can of diesel. The pub says it's about putting a smile back on faces after a tough few months. Local Jim Greedy was the first winner. Good on you, Jim. A young Collingwood fan facing the fight of his life has had his dream come true. 5-year-old Logan, who was diagnosed with neuroblastoma, spent the morning at Magpies headquarters. After a guided tour and watching training, he had the chance to meet his idols.
So who's your favourite player?
Rick Dackelson.
The family hopes the visit helps raise awareness of this rare childhood cancer. All the best to you, Logan. Beck is back with sport, and Beck, the Pies are treading carefully with their forgotten star.
Yes, Peter, the club has spoken on Bobby Hill's chances of making a comeback. That's next. Plus, the man who's mentored the Pies premiership hero back to the training track. Also, the heat is on the Bombers, who have suffered another setback. Kane Corns joins me live. Jeremy Cameron reveals his left field recovery techniques, while a few of his teammates have a fitness fight on their hands and a test of stamina for our Aussie cricketers. Welcome back. Collingwood says Bobby Hill is a long way off returning to the playing field after taking months off with personal leave. The premiership hero has turned to Eddie Betts to mentor him on his road back.
With champion forward Eddie Betts on board as a mentor, Bobby Hill back on track at Pies HQ after 3 months of personal leave. Now for a sustained block to build fitness.
He's still got a long way to go, Mitch. He
He's done a bit of training, but he's really just at the start line. One thing we probably should anticipate that it may not be linear.
The 26-year-old likely to need at least a month before he's considered for a VFL return, but Darcy Moore and Jeremy Howe train fully, both fit to face GWS Friday night. More pain at the Bombers, Dyson Sharp with an ankle injury, Mason Redmond needing surgery and out for more than 4 weeks to repair a torn meniscus. No team has conceded more points in an opening fortnight this decade. Brad Scott admits some players lack the desire to defend.
I think it's part of it, yeah. Because it'd be ridiculous for me to say that's not the case. We're not hard-nosed enough in defence, full stop.
Last 2 weeks, pretty crap to be honest, on the field. Still have to keep vibes up around the club for sure, so it's a long season, stuff can change.
Charlie Comben cleared by the MRO to face the Bombers after his hit on Harley Reid. Tigers captain Toby Nankervis to miss up to 2 months with his hamstring. Tom Lynch, 5 weeks. While Tom Liberatore will be sidelined after the Bulldogs bye, straining his hamstring in the third quarter against Adelaide, remarkably playing on for a game-high 8 final quarter disposals. Mitch Cleary, 7 News.
Patrick Dangerfield and Mark Blixarves are in doubt for Thursday's clash with the Crows. There's no concern over Jeremy Cameron, though, who used some bizarre treatment over the bye to get himself right.
3 days out from a Thursday night blockbuster, and the Cats' biggest draw card was back in the rehab group. Patrick Dangerfield trained away from the main group for the period that media was permitted at training, while Mark Blixarves also laboured through his run-throughs alone. Jeremy Cameron had his arm strapped but allayed any fears over his selection.
Yeah, it's pretty good, yeah. It's pretty good, yeah.
And he has an unorthodox rehab technique to thank.
So the club's blended wood cutting into my arm rehab, so it's all part of strengthening the arm and the body.
Cameron not fazed by Geelong's tough early schedule of Gold Coast, Fremantle and Adelaide.
You've got to play these teams at some point, and yeah, we might as well play them early.
The Crows will be on best behaviour after copping an informal warning from the AFL, with Ben Keys telling this fan to play keepings off on Friday.
Oh, bit of gamesmanship.
And Sean Manor has signed a 3-year extension at the Cats after being named the Young Player of the Year in 2025.
Everything you do is for a reason, and throughout my whole footy journey it's been to get me to this point.
The 28-year-old was overlooked in 7 AFL drafts before the Cats struck gold in 2023.
If you end up at Geelong, you fit the footy jackpot, and I certainly feel like that.
Xander Maguire, 7 News.
After 2 rounds, there's a sharp focus on the Bombers. 7's Kane Corns joins me now. Hi, Kane, good to see you. Now, we are 4 years into this Essendon regime. Is it the drafting, the list, Brad Scott, all of the above? What is it?
It's an excellent question, Bet. Yep, just 17 wins for Brad Scott in that time that you mentioned on Agenda Setters tonight. I'm actually going to look at that. I'm going to have a blame pie. I'm going to portion which section of blame goes to which people at the club and in the past. Clearly the coach, Brad Scott, definitely the high performance, absolutely the recruiting. Zach Merritt needs to take his fair blame for trying to blow the club up last year, but really it was a disaster against Port Adelaide. The first quarter, so disappointing, just 7 tackles, 0 response after what we saw the previous week and the heat they were under.
OK, so how do they dig themselves out of this hole? It is a very long season at the bottom.
It is a long season when you start like this. Can be done. Hawthorn a few years ago started 0-5 and got themselves out of it. You put it on the senior players. You need more from Parrish. You need more from Mackay. You need more from Merritt. You need more from Langford. That's where it starts. If your leaders, if your senior players serve up what they served up on the weekend, what hope do the youngsters have? We see Nate Caddy missing that one. I thought he was excellent in the second half and showed some energy and some fight. The senior players have got to come along as well.
OK, North Melbourne. They were up by 5 goals against the Eagles. How deflating will that loss be? And Saturday night, I suppose, will be very interesting now against the Bombers.
It will be very interesting. Losers in for another rough one. But, unfortunately, they've conceded 100 points again to a side like West Coast, which is unacceptable. Defence has to be the word out of North Melbourne after being so poor, like Essendon, for so long in that area, and it just wasn't good enough. Once again, they have a lot of players that get a lot of the footy. I'm just not sure how much damage they do with that footy.
All right, Kane, we'll leave it there tonight. Agenda Setters tonight at 7:30 on 7 Mate. As always, thank you. It could be cricket's ultimate test of stamina. Our Aussie team will play an incredible 10 test matches in 14 weeks. From August, the Aussies play a mix of home and away series against Bangladesh, South Africa, New Zealand, India and England.
I think you ask the players in the test team if they want to have a rest, and absolutely not. The guys playing love playing. They don't like sitting and watching.
No test players will be available for next summer's Big Bash. Now, this is the strip the Socceroos will wear at the World Cup in North America beginning in June. Friday night's friendly against Cameroon in Sydney is crucial preparation.
Every camp is important, every camp is special. You just got to enjoy it. Enjoy every moment you get, if it's your first, your fifth, your 100th cap.
After Cameroon, the Socceroos play Curacao at Amy Park on Tuesday week. 10 test matches in 14 weeks. Good for us. Not maybe.
I was just going to say, that is a very
incredible, isn't it?
Big mission.
Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Beck. The King's Baton is acting as a catalyst for a special environmental cause in His Majesty's name. The relay arrived in Townsville today on a marathon mission ahead of the Glasgow Commonwealth Games.
If they handed out medals for community spirit, this group would surely be on the podium.
I got lots of glass. Yeah, there's a lot of glass.
They're collecting rubbish from the beach at Rose Bay in Townsville, an effort organised to coincide with the King's Baton relay.
To see such a concerted effort going into making sure that we're looking after, our homes and the beautiful parts of nature that we have, it's good to see.
The aim is to reduce plastic pollution and improve the health of our waterways, in keeping with King Charles's lifelong environmental drive. It's an added dimension to the Baton relay in the lead up to the Commonwealth Games.
I've been a fan of his for way back because he was an environmentalist when it wasn't popular. Now everyone sort of knows he was right.
It's also a chance to see the Baton and mingle with athletes.
It's pretty incredible. It's one of those things you see as a kid, I think, and to be standing here and doing this now, it really is a dream come true.
The fact that we have the opportunity to compete, particularly in today's climate, is just unbelievable.
The relay has already landed in Asia, Africa, the Caribbean, and each place has staged a similar cleanup. Their goal is to remove 1 million pieces of plastic from the environment before the start of the Glasgow Commonwealth Games in July. The King's Baton leaving its mark by what's not left behind. Max Futcher, 7 News.
Jane's back on World Meteorological Day with the forecast, and Jane, the warm weather's set to continue.
It is indeed, Mitch, for 2 more days. Then we have a dramatic change. I'll have full details. And on tonight's Bright Side, we meet Wallace and Gromit, 4-legged brothers looking for their forever home. Hello again. It's remaining warm for the next 2 days. Then we'll feel a dramatic change on Thursday. Our skies were dramatic overnight and aurora on display. We woke to foggy low cloud that gradually cleared to hazy sunshine, brightening as you moved away from the bay. In the city, it reached 27.5. It feels warmer thanks to so much moisture in the air. Outer suburbs jumped up past 30 on this warm Monday afternoon. Point Cook, though, didn't rise above 24. Areas of foggy low cloud cleared to lots of sunshine. A field of cumulus this afternoon and wispy high cloud overhead. It is warm, even along much of the coast at Warrnambool, 31. A high to our east is bringing the warm and humid weather. The warmth continues tomorrow and on Wednesday, but this time we have a trough sitting just over to our west from tomorrow. And a strong cold front ploughs through on Thursday. Ex-cyclone Narelle is crossing into its third state or territory, Western Australia, returning to cyclone strength as it moves over water, terrorising a huge swathe of the coastline near Broome, Port Hedland and Karratha. Here we'll see hit and miss storms on Tuesday and Wednesday. And a blast of cold showers from Thursday, but a low could be forming off Gippsland with significant totals in the east there. That is later in the week, after we've gone from warmth tomorrow and on Wednesday to a proper cold outbreak to end the week. We'll really feel this one. I'll be pulling the winter doona back out on Thursday. Around the nation tomorrow, showery in Brisbane and Sydney, heavier in Hobart, warm and sunny across the south. To Victoria, it's warm, humid, local fog, then lots of sunshine. Cumulus will bubble up again, higher than we saw today, producing hit and miss showers and thunderstorms. These are mainly in the southwest, western Gippsland, the Ranges, and just onto the northern plains. Close skies are in. Another warm and humid day, early fog, then lots of sunshine. But in the late afternoon and early evening, we have the risk of showers and thunderstorms. Possible anywhere, but not everyone will see one. They're hit and miss. I'm expecting a warm, humid and mostly sunny 30 in the city. There is the risk of a late storm. To the 8-day outlook, we essentially repeat on Wednesday, about 28 before the showers and storms kick off. On Thursday, 19 is in the morning. Then we get our gusty cold change come through. By the evening, it's about 13, then 10 degrees, and that wind, it is freezing. It'll feel about 6 or 7. There we have lots of showers going through. Yes, that's just 15 on Friday, slowly recovering over the weekend. There's warmth on the horizon. Warm and humid 30 tomorrow. Lots of sun, the risk of a late storm. Now to tonight's bright side. It's International Puppy Day, and we're celebrating with 4-month-old brothers Wallace and Gromit. The cheeky American Bulldog puppies were surrendered to the Lord Smith Animal Hospital. Vet-checked and bathed, they're all ready for adoption.
They're adorable little brothers who would love nothing more than to find their forever home on World Puppy Day.
And with faces like these, who could resist? Indeed. Our friends at Lord Smith have chalked up an incredible milestone, 90 years of caring for animals.
Puppy Day coincides with meteorological.
Oh, we get the same day.
How about
You said it 3 times now, I love it.
Thank you very much, Jane. And that's the way it is this Monday, the 23rd of March. Thanks for your company. For now, from the team, good night.